Here are the three very crucial things to be paying attention to when it comes to the housing market. Fall 2022. I'm Tristan. I'm back. I had COVID. I was knocked out for a while. And so now let me come back and say, pay attention to the local markets, because these three things are extremely important. And no, what I'm seeing is that there is no crash. Is there a correction? Yes, there is a difference. So pay attention to it, because there's a lot of people out there that are there to scare you, to sell you other things. So let's just dive right into this. These three things I've got from a great article, and you know how much I love Fortune magazine, right? Well, it says we're entering the next stage of the housing market downturn. Notice they don't call it a crash, okay? It's a downturn. Yes, they got it right. Three things to expect heading forward right now. Now, look, before we dive into this, let's pay attention to the words that people are using, because you have two sides to this. One, it's a crash. We're going to get there no matter what. The other one is like, hey, it's a downturn. It's a correction. And what I want you to pay attention to is the people that are using these words, because you have a lot of people that are taking out their little crystal balls and saying, hey, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And this is going to happen. I'm telling you right now, nobody out there knows exactly what's going to happen. Nobody. The Fed doesn't even know. So this is why I need you to pay attention to the market, local markets, and see what's happening there. Now, with that said, let's go back to this. These are the three things to expect heading forward. I'm going to zoom in here so I can read this to you, because I know some of you are on your phones and it's kind of harder to see this. So read this with me. Back in June, Fed Chair Jerome Powell made it clear the housing market would go through reset. I'd say if you're a home buyer, somebody or a younger person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset. We need to get back to a place where supply and demand are back together, where inflation is down low again. And mortgage rates are low again. The mortgage rates are not low. Obviously, we've seen that, right? And I have a feeling like the Fed really wants to crush the real estate market. And the real estate market's on the other side saying, hold up, we got this. We're not going to go down. So it's very interesting to watch what's happening with the Fed. I know at the end of the day, they're saying, hey, we don't want the market to crash, the real estate market. But damn, if they keep on doing these things, it might. So pay attention. Right now, we're not heading for a crash from what we see. It's too early to tell again. Here are other stats, though. Check this out. As we dig deeper into this, here's number two. The home price correction is spreading. Again, look at the words they're using, right? Home price correction, not, hey, the crash is spreading. The 98 major regional housing markets where home prices are already falling. Now, look at this right here. It says home price shift since peak. We see the darker, right? That's the bigger number. Lighter red, closer to zero. And if you notice where all of the dots are, I'm in California, so this is where most of the dots are in the state I'm in. So I'm concerned. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And who's reporting this? So if you hover over these, and I'll put the link in here. If you hover over these, and of course, none of this is perfect, right? But you've got Orange County, LA County's at negative 5.3 Orange County, right? LA 5.1. I'm in Ventura, it's almost 7%, right? San Luis Obispo, a little lower. And then you've got all of the coastal states, right? Negative 8%, San Francisco, and so forth. Now you go to the middle. We know Nashville, Tennessee, it has some indication of going somewhat down. And then you've got here Salt Lake City, Ogden, and then you got Boise, negative 3.5, Phoenix, negative 5. So that's what they're calling. They're saying, hey, there might be a correction. We don't know. What I'm noticing is that even these numbers, and I'm going to go back to you on these, even these numbers aren't taking into consideration one key factor. And I'm going to show you at the end what that is and why I think, hey, no crash. And these people got it right on Fortune. So keep on, stay with me on this one, because I've got the goods for you. Now, if we go in a little deeper into this article, I'm going to zoom out. It says a growing chorus of research firms. Yes, here we go. Including Moody's Analytics, John Burns Real Estate Consulting, I don't know who they are, Zonda, and Zelman and Associates expect this home price correction to continue into 2023. Yes, that we agree with. We've seen peak to trough. And Moody's Analytics thinks U.S. home prices could soon fall 5%. This is nationally altogether, right? In significantly overvalued housing markets. And we've seen Moody for months now saying that that could happen. And they're saying that it could probably drop 5 to 10% more. It just depends on where, and it also depends on if a recession manifests as well. And I'm like, okay, too early to tell. I don't know. Because we're already looking at the Fed increasing the rate tomorrow or soon, right? Here it is. The housing downturn will soon spread beyond housing. This is number 2. And I think this is important because we need to pay attention to what does the housing really, everything involved with housing on that economic side. How much does it touch? Like what is it actually affected when it comes to real estate? And I think this is where we go in deeper here, because now we take a look at this and we're like, well, Goldman Sachs is forecasting for 2022, the rest of 2022 and 2023 to have lower numbers. And as we scroll in, here we go. This is what they're saying. I'm going to zoom in this for you because you need to read this with me. It says researchers at Goldman Sachs recently released a paper titled "The Housing Downturn Further to Fall." Yeah, it was everywhere. I got it. I read the whole thing. Did I understand all of it? I'm like, oh, okay, no, not really, right? I'm not an economist, right? But I did read it. The investment banks forecast that the U.S. housing GDP will drop by 8.9% in 2022 and another 9.2% in 2023. It's important to look at those numbers because now we're going to compare them to what happened during the Great Recession, right, in 07, 08. So let's take a look at that because in the lead up to the Great Recession, it even says here, which officially started in 07, housing GDP fell by 7.4, which is interesting, similar numbers. And in 2006, right, 2006 and 21.4% in 2007. So not even close. When we're taking a look at these drops, the one that sets us apart is at 21.4% in 2007. They're saying, and of course, this is just one company, right? Goldman Sachs is saying, hey, we're probably going to be closer to 9.2 based on the numbers we have. And I think that's important to take a look at because now we take a look at the things that real estate touches. As home shoppers across the country put their home search on pause, it causes home builders to pull back, which you've already seen over the last couple of months or a little bit longer. That sees decreased demand for things like refrigerators, right, electronics that are for the home, lumber, windows, and paint, right? All of that decreases, all that demand. Those economic contractions should, in theory, help to rein in runaway inflation. And now you take a look at it and say, oh, now I'm understanding why the Fed keeps on wanting to press prices to go down to reset, right? They don't want a full-on crash, but they are saying, let's reset it. Now, let's dig in to number 3, which is the one that I like, right? Sellers are calling a timeout. Monthly change in active listings on Realtor.com. I'm going to put the link here so you can jump into this. I want to read this to you because to me, this is the thing that not a lot of people are paying attention to. And this is going back to, who was it? Was it, who's on here? Victor. Victor, you said the market is neutralizing. Now watch this because I agree with you. I'm not an alarmist. I'm a realist slash I see the glass always a little half full. Maybe it's more than half full. But look, I also look for things like this as well. So I'm giving you this so you can read it as well. Now we're going to go in. Oops, there we go. We're going to go in. Now I'm reading this to you. It says, as the pandemic housing boom fizzled out this summer, we saw inventory jump across the country. Yes, they called it a bubbly market. In bubbly markets like Austin and Boise, the inventory jump was greater than 300% between March and August. We did see that, right? What's up, Jake? But that inventory spike is already fizzling out, right? And I don't hear anybody talking about it. I don't hear people saying, hey, look, watch out for that inventory. That inventory is actually going to come down because people are actually going to not put as many homes on the market. And this article caught it because this is what we've been talking about. If you've been following me, I'm saying, hey guys, watch out for the inventory because that's a massive factor. Now here we go. Read this with me. I'll just read it. Active listings on Realtor.com jumped by 106,000 homes in May. That was followed by 102,000 and 128,000 in June and July. However, that slowed in August to just 31,900 inventory jump. Guys, look at that number. That is a massive drop. And yet you have people calling a crash. I'm telling you, it's not. It's just a correction. Pay attention to the data. This is a leading indicator as to where we're going. If this continues, then what happens? Here, I'll tell you, this article tells you, because they have smart people writing this. It says, and through the rest of the year, Altos Research, which you know, Mike Simonson is a friend of ours, Altos Research predicts inventory will actually fall. These are all predictions, right? Everyone take out your crystal ball and do the same things like, well, what happens next? I don't know. They've got some data. I'm going with it. Let's take a look. What's going on? Now read this. What's going on? For starters, sellers are realizing that buyers are done paying top dollar. Rather than take less, some sellers are simply waiting out the housing downturn. They're going to wait. They don't need to sell. There's also the rate lock in effect. The vast majority of outstanding mortgages have rates below 5%. That's right. Me, a lot of the people I know, my family, we all have rates around 3%. Now, if they sell now, they'd be giving up their historically low mortgage rates. That payments jump is hardly appealing to move up buyers. Look, you're looking at me. There's no way I'm moving. Why would I sell my home to go on and get a 6.5% or even higher if it's a jumbo loan, right? It just doesn't work that way. Now keep on reading with me. It's going to be very hard to persuade people to let go of those insanely low rates. That's reality. Palacios tells Fortune, while many industry insiders believe tight inventory will help to prevent a housing crash, Palacios says it won't be enough to prevent a home price correction. There's a difference. Correction, crash, right? All in semantics. The words we use matter. And so this is where I leave you right there. I'm going to read you the last thing. But I want to reread this section right here for you. I'm going to zoom in. See, while many industry insiders believe tight inventory will help to prevent a housing crash, Palacios says it won't be enough to prevent the home price correction. All right, so now I'll put this up for you so you can get it. I'm going to translate it for you. If this continues to happen, where less and less sellers are putting up their homes on the market, and the demand from buyers is also lessening, the crash is just not going to happen, because the demand, although it may be waning, which it is, there's no homes for sale. There's not enough. So pay attention to these numbers and don't just freak out when you hear people say the housing market's crashing. Look, if you need to buy now, buy. If you need to sell, sell. If you're looking at me, Tristan, if you were going to buy, when would you buy? Which, by the way, we're looking, right? But I'm not selling this damn thing. I'm keeping it. But I'm looking to buy. I'm like, where can I buy? I'm looking to see what happens in the next few months. December might be great. February, right? Let's see where this goes. I have a little bit of time. So that's what I'm looking at. Take a look at the numbers. Don't just hear people tell you that the market is crashing and then take it at face value. Read as much as you can. I'm putting this link in there. If you have any questions, throw them in here. If you disagree with me, I love it. Just tell me why. I want to see what's going on. And Lance, Kim, yeah, bingo times infinity. Thank you. Junkie, yeah. Look, share this with everybody. Lance, he says, really, indeed, cheap money will keep many in current homes. That's right. Great point. Michael, we also need to consider what is normal regarding seasonal inventory. Exactly. I mean, I can go deeper into this, but every time I go deep on one side, people are like, no, you're just not looking at this the right way. I want to look at it both ways, right? The fact is, we don't know what's going to happen next. So I want you to pay attention on a daily basis, because people are feeling the pinch out there. And when the feds raise that rate again, even though the mortgage rate's not tied to that rate, it still affects it somehow, right? Because people freak out and they're like, the rate's up. So pay attention to things. Thank you for jumping on. I'll do this again either tomorrow or the next day. Now that I don't have COVID, I'm back. You don't know how many messages I got saying, well, Tristan, you haven't done a video in like 2 weeks. You know the market's crashing, right? Is that why you stopped? No, The market's not crashing. Damn it. I was sick. Thanks for joining me. Have an awesome day.